Hi Sagittarius, welcome to your daily tarot reading. Thank you for joining me in this reading. I'm going to be using the Lightseers deck and the Lover's Oracle deck for today. So remember to take what resonates from the reading and to leave behind whatever you feel does not. So let's find out what messages come through with the cards. So the first card that we have is the Two of Wands. So with this card, you could be dealing with a fire sign, another Sagittarius, an Aries, or a Leo. Next, we have the Queen of Swords. With this card, you could be dealing with an air sign, so a Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. And finally, we have the Eight of Swords in the reverse. So this is showing that you could be dealing with an air sign again. And at the bottom of the deck, we have the Temperance card. So this card shows you could be dealing with another Sagittarius. So with the Temperance card at the bottom of the deck, with this card, this is showing a lot of consideration and perhaps a lot of caution as you move forward in a connection, or perhaps as this connection moves forward. So with this card, it is all about wanting to move things forward slowly, as not to perhaps repeat any mistakes from the past, or not to hurt anyone, or perhaps even out of a fear of being in a position whereby you repeat any past mistakes. This is all about being very considerate and careful, and also very cautious. And so with that kind of approach, things move forward at a slow and steady pace, but there's definitely a lot of progress. With the Temperance card, this also shows a lot of harmony in a connection, and also it's a connection that's very deep. So the Temperance card also has that angelicness to it, and with this card, this could also be your spirit guide coming through, also protecting you. So with that message of a spirit guide coming through and the angelic side of the Temperance card, this could be a divine kind of a connection, perhaps a connection that is going to be very long lasting and is one that you can be very sure of. So I'm getting that perhaps why it's moving at a slow and steady pace is because there is no need to rush it. This is a connection that perhaps will be one that lasts a very long time. It is one that can be very long term. And also with this card, it also is a card about certainty. So with this card, it's also a card about moderation and being able to give just enough to a connection, but also being able to give with a lot of certainty that this is the right one. So also with this card and it being perhaps one that is divinely sent, this is also another confirmation about this connection perhaps being one that feels very right, because it is right. It is one that is very divine in nature. And I'm also getting it being one that perhaps is one that is very long lasting as well. So with the Two of Wands, this card is a card all about being able to have the courage to leave a comfortable place and perhaps moving into a new area, a new place, a new level in a connection. And also this Two of Wands, this bravery, it can feel like it's risky, but this is all about having a lot of courage. It's also about making plans for perhaps the future. So with this card showing up, it is about long distance and about it's very forthcoming. It's future thinking. So with this card, it is also perhaps making plans with a person. And I'm getting that with this other person, perhaps they may be someone who has perhaps gone through a lot in the past. With the Queen of Swords, this shows that perhaps this is someone who's a bit difficult to read as well. So that could also be motivating this idea that perhaps you need to move slowly and cautiously when it comes to this other person. It could be because this other person may be in a position whereby they could be coming at it with a very calculated way of moving forward, and so they don't move spontaneously necessarily. Everything that they do is well thought out, and that is with the intention of perhaps not hurting anyone and perhaps even not repeating any past mistakes with this Queen of Swords. So with the Eight of Swords, this is a card that shows release. This is about freedom. So that is why I say that perhaps another person's connection could have come from a difficult past, or perhaps has gotten over what may have been a very limiting state of mind, or even just a limiting past, and they are coming out of that. This is all about being able to experience the freedom following perhaps anything that felt very binding and very chaining. And I'm getting that this person is perhaps coming out of that, and it is a delicate kind of a process for them. But this person ultimately is in a place where they are perhaps healthier, free of any old toxic patterns or any unhealthy attachments that were perhaps keeping them bound mentally, and even on an emotional level. So I am getting that this other person perhaps may be somebody who is more to themselves in a sense. They could be a little bit more guarded in some sense, but they're showing up as a little bit difficult to read with that Queen of Swords. And I'm getting that this person has this front up because they want to be able to protect themselves and they don't want to be caught off guard. They are prepared with that Queen of Swords. So I'm also getting that this is a connection that perhaps starts off slowly, and even it's in a delicate phase right now, but I'm getting it moving into this free energy, this free space where there's a lot of harmony, and you can also enjoy in that certainty in this connection. So this is all about being able to solidify the foundation of this connection through perhaps also being able to take active action towards that. So that Eight of Swords is the opposite of passive energy. This is about being able to be free, but as a result of perhaps doing the work, and also being able to see your shortcomings and being able to perhaps take accountability in order to be able to correct them. So I am getting a person, two people in this connection who have the intention of being in this connection. It is a choice. They want to make it work and they know what to do to make it work. And I'm seeing this other person with that Queen of Swords especially seems to take it very seriously. They want to apply what they know because they don't want to perhaps jeopardize this connection. But with that Temperance card, I'm seeing this connection as one that is perhaps even is protected in some way. So with any fears, any doubts or hesitations, this Temperance card is all about relieves that stress, and that's the divine protection on this connection I'm getting. So I'm going to pull out a card from the Lover's Oracle deck. I'm going to pull out 3 cards. So I'm going to pull out one for the overall connection, and I'm going to pull out a card for you as well as for anyone involved in this connection. So I'm going to start with a card for you, Sagittarius. So this is the card that came out, and it says, wait, don't rush into it. Allow nature to take its course. Okay, so even with this card, this is speaking about the pace of this connection and it moving perhaps at a slower rate, or being able to be okay and accepting with the rate that this connection is moving at. So I'm going to pull out a card for the other person in this connection. So this is the card that came out. It says power. You instinctively know what is right for you, and you have the power to say no and to walk away at any time. Okay, so with this card, I'm also getting that perhaps this person is in a state whereby they are reclaiming their power in some way, with that Eight of Swords showing up in the reverse. And with this card, this is all about having self-trust when it comes to entering a situation, and also being able to trust yourself to be able to walk away at any time, and also to have the power to stand up for yourself and say no if it does not resonate. So I am getting that perhaps this person is someone who may be very serious when it comes to how they approach this connection. They could have a mentality of being afraid of making any mistakes. With this card, this is all about self-trust, and I'm getting that perhaps this person may be dealing with perhaps learning how to come back to a space whereby they are in control, especially with that Eight of Swords energy as well. So they are trying to play a more active role when it comes to this connection. And with this card, this is all about them having that control and them being able to have that self-trust, but also the trust in the universe at large when it comes to being able to perhaps have trust that you will be protected in any situation. So I'm going to pull out a card for the overall connection. So this is the card that came out, and it says, imagine all unwanted thoughts dissolving into light, creating room for new opportunities and possibilities for your life. Okay, so with this card, this is all about being able to clear yourself of any negative energy, or clear this whole connection of any negative energy, and being able to move forward with that clarity. And getting that with this card, this is perhaps a message about this connection perhaps is a source of being able to come into a more free energy when it comes to perhaps not being weighed down by any limiting beliefs, any limiting thoughts, or anything that is perhaps stopping you. So with this card, this also speaks about new opportunities and new possibilities for your life. So with this, I'm getting it is about being able to adopt a new mindset that is void of any negativity. And I'm getting that by being able to actually imagine all unwanted thoughts dissolving into light, creating room for new opportunities and possibilities. This is also a practice that is also able to perhaps lend itself to the clearing away of any negativity, any negative thoughts, fears. So that is the message I'm getting with these cards, Sagittarius. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll speak to you in tomorrow's reading. Bye, Sagittarius.